Hello everyone, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Quest for Glory 4, Shadows of Darkness, the Thief Path. Well, I had intended to finish training up most of my stats before we pick this back up, but I returned to the inn to sleep and wound up uncovering a little cutscene. I got woken up around midnight hearing the sound of crying beneath me, came out here and was informed the noise is coming from the innkeeper's room. So let's go ahead and very quietly sneak over, listen at the door.
The cries are coming from behind this door. You can hear the voices of the innkeeper and his wife.
You must accept it, Bella. Tanya is dead. You will never see her again.
No, I cannot believe it. She can't be. I know she's alive. I know she will come back to us.
Crying will not bring her back to us. This is foolish. Just go to sleep.
How can I sleep when my baby is not safe? She is at the castle. I know she must be.
Then she must be dead. Bella, there is nothing we can do.
The cries fade off to quiet sobs.
And just in case you're curious, we can try and pick the doors here.
The room is totally... There is no response to your knock. There is no response.
And this does not raise our pick lock skill either.
That didn't. You unlock the door.
And yep.
You awaken to find the domovoi in your room.
You help big time this time. Father very sad, mother very sad. Go to castle, find child you will. Take child to staff. This very good thing, very important hero job. This takes sadness of many people away. You do good job, okay?
And yes, I misremembered exactly when we get the domovoi to show up in our room. It actually happens later in the game, clearly. If you wind up spending so much time training that you don't get around to doing your serious hero business. Now, unlike the quest to rescue Davy, this one will not eventually time out and result in a game over.
You awaken...
But I'm going to go ahead and get going on this because I'm getting a little sick of doing the training, and I've got pretty much everything we need to do maxed out. With one exception.
It's a garlic souffle, Mordavian style. You get...
Perhaps...
You get...
Plus, breaking into the castle will get us the chance to exercise our thief skills. Yes, winter is coming. Alright, so... to the graveyard.
The majestic mountains in the background provide a beautiful contrast to the grim gravestones and crypts of the cemetery. A heavy stone door seals off the Borgov family crypt. A relief carving on the door shows the crest of the House of Borgov.
Anyway, examine the door.
You examine the door closely. It's massive and well made. A large lock secures the door. Above the door is an intricate crest with the single word, Borgov, above it.
let's listen at door.
It is deathly silent beyond the door.
Hey, in this valley, you never know. And pick lock.
All right. You hear a sharp snick as your lockpicks catch the tumblers just right. The crypt door opens. You are in a dark, dank crypt, filled with bas-relief figures of long-departed knights and statues of the Grim Reaper. Stairs lead back up to the entrance. A brightly coloured copy of the Borgov crest adorns part of the floor.
Alright, we're going to make sure to sneak.
You see a coffin cover bearing a bas-relief sculpture of a knight. Oh, such a cheery sight! It's a statue of the Grim Reaper, harbinger of death. It's a figure of the Grim Reaper, harbinger of death. At the base of the statue are the words, "Greet the Reaper."
You know, I've heard it said that seasons don't fear the Reaper, nor the wind, nor the sun, nor the rain. Actually, this is an easy way to figure out the way out, which is...
As you shake hands with the Grim Reaper statue, the door at the top of the stairs opens. You quickly make your escape from the deadly crypt. Oh! You see a coffin.
Small grating on the floor for draining. And we have this relief here. And this is a pretty obvious one, even if you don't get the hint from the chief thief. Yeah, the colors match, so we'll click B-O-R-G-O-V.
Spelling out the name Borgov in colors has caused a secret compartment to open in the crest. You see a coffin. You see a... Oh, such a... The coffin cover is decorated with a bas-relief sculpture of a knight. Searching carefully, you see a small hole that looks like a keyhole in the sculpture.
Now let's see if we can pick it in the moment, but examine relief closely.
There are no traps on this coffin, but you do find a small keyhole. The coffin lid is actually a door.
Let's go ahead and listen to relief.
You can hear faint and distant sounds behind this coffin, but can't make out any details.
Yeah, we're not going to knock on it, so let's go ahead and pick the lock.
Using your thieves' toolkit, you manage to spring the lock on the coffin lid. It opens to reveal a dark, narrow passage leading deep into the heart of the mountain. After following the dark passage for several minutes, you come out into a castle chamber. The bookcase closes behind you, and there is no obvious way to open it again. The bookshelves are full of incredibly exciting works, such as 250 years of Boyar ledgers and first-grade writing samples. The bookshelf...
I was hoping to find something obvious.
The books all seem to be glued in place. You also can't get the bookshelf to move. If there's a secret passage here, the trigger is somewhere else in the room.
Put the candle back.
You reach up to put the candle back. It's a fake candle. When you move it, a secret passage opens up behind the bookshelf. Using...
Alright, so now we know we can get out of here.
After following... You carefully oil the door's slightly rusty hinges. You carefully oil the door. All you can hear are distant creaks and groans and the beating of your own heart.
All right.
There are no traps on the door.
Peek through a keyhole.
You don't see any sign of life or movement beyond the door.
All right then. Let us pick the lock.
You hear a gentle snick. The lock is open.
And yet it still creaks.
You see a portrait of a tall, arrogant-looking nobleman dressed for battle. The oil sconce glimmers with light. This place must go through a lot of oil. Nothing like a blazing fire to keep away the chill on those coats. The large, round wooden table is starting to crack from age. There's a fine layer of dust on it.
And yet there's still a fire going and torches lit.
You carefully...
Okay, look for traps.
There are no traps.
Listen.
All you can hear are distant... You don't see any...
Alright, let's go ahead and pick that lock.
You hear a gentle... It's a cheap wooden cup. It's a drinking horn. At least it would be a drinking horn if it had something to drink. Heroes don't smoke. It's unhealthy and bad for the environment. You don't need the ashtray.
Aw, but stealing ashtrays is a very fiefy thing. Also, it looks more like a flask than an ashtray.
An ornate crystal chandelier reflects an iridescent rainbow of light into every corner of the room. These chairs were once very elegant. Now they're old and worn. It's a
Oh, wait. Oil the cabinet hinges first.
That didn't do anything. You carefully... The cabinet is empty. The cabinet is empty. The cabinet...
Well, worth a shot. Anyway, listen.
All you can hear are...
Look for traps.
There are no...
Peer through keyhole.
Catch a brief glimpse of the elusive flash of wings on the other side of the door.
Oh, I think we're about to have a batter fight. Let's go ahead and pick the lock.
You hear a gentle...
Forgive me for taking the opportunity to try and get some dodging in.
You carefully...
Okay, listen at door.
You put your ear up against the door and listen. You don't hear anything.
Let's go ahead and peer through keyhole.
Peering through the keyhole, you see no threatening activity on the other side of the door.
Alright, we'll go ahead and pick lock.
Nothing like a blazing... The bookshelf sports a number of volumes of light reading. This must have been the boyar's personal reading room, since its crest decorates the top of the shelf.
Well, it does decorate the top of the shelf in the other one, but,
You straighten out the crest. The bookshelf opens, revealing a secret passage. The sprawling castle watches over a lush and prosperous landscape. Obviously a fantasy piece. After several minutes spent analyzing this piece of furniture, you reach the brilliant conclusion that it must be a bed. A worn, threadbare rug adds a touch of color to the plain wooden floor. This probably isn't at the top of your list of safe places to sleep. There's nothing hidden under... You don't find any safes, secret passages, or other interesting oddities. This must be the Rose bedroom. You're somewhere near the northeast... You carefully... There are no
traps.
You don't see any... All you can hear a
And pick the lock.
You hear a...
And has my lockpicking skill gone up at all in this? Not enough, but stealth is almost above 300. Dodge and weapon use went up, and our intelligence has gone up considerably. Alright, so we'll go ahead and oil that.
Peering through the key... You put your...
And no option to pick the lock this time.
A cabin... A cab... A cab... A cab... You straight... A cabinet...
Alright, well...
You care... You care...
I'm getting a lot of utility out of this one vial of
Carefully...
oil. Alright, look for traps.
There are no...
Peer through keyhole.
You don't see any...
And listen at the door.
All you can hear...
Okay.
You hear a jet... A cab... A cab... The sprawling...
Okay.
There are
No traps.
You don't see...
No movement. But do I hear anything?
All you can hear... You hear... You can... You can... All you can hear... There are no... You don't see... You hear... You care?
Alright, listen to door.
You put your ear up against...
Peer through keyhole.
Peering through the keyhole.
Alright, let's see what's through here. Pay dirt.
You take... A cap. You straighten up. You... A cap. You care? That didn't do it. It's a massive... The chest is...
Look for traps. Aha!
You take 15 crowns from a pouch in the safe. The safe also contains several papers and some old clothes, but they have deteriorated with age and are worthless, so you leave them.
All right.
You care? All you can hear... There are... Your eyes must have deceived you. For a moment there you could swear you saw a ghost.
Well, in point of fact...
You hear... You shiver as the ghost passes through you. It's as white as a sheet. Perhaps it's the ghost of some poor benighted soul who fell to his death while trying to take in the laundry. You carefully... You put your ear... Peering through the key...
And we are in a great hall of some type, which appears to be thankfully empty.
You carefully oil...
And we got a fanfare for oiling that one.
You carefully... You put your ear...
Because it turns out this is the door we went through, or this is where we came through originally.
There are no... The door... You hear... You careful... You straighten... You put... There are a number... Some smaller Most of the containers are broken. The You can't... All you can hear... There are... After several minutes, it's a mess. That didn't
And a wraith in the bedroom.
Finally, the wraith vanishes under the force of your onslaught, its ties to this world severed. The chest is... In the chest you find a small flask labelled Healing and 25 crowns. Pretty nice for a few minutes' work.
It was, actually.
You've already taken... You hear? You can't... You hear? A few drops of oil run down the door and drip on your shiny shoes. However, you shiver. You hear it. A long hall runs north.
And we can rest here for a little bit.
The door hinges squeak. You care. There are no... All you can hear... You don't...
Oh, wait, was that one?
You don't see any movement through the keyhole, but you think you hear movement from the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, well. Let's go ahead and pick the lock.
You hear a gentle... He looks like someone with whom you really don't want to tangle. He's mean, he's tough, he's a goon. He looks like some... You know, there are those two huge goon guards down at the bottom. Are you sure this is such a good time to head down the stairs?
Boring. This is definitely boring. Hey, dungeons is always guarded, and we's the guards. But why guard a dungeon when there's no one in there? We got to guard something, don't we? Else we don't got the job. Well, it's still boring.
Okay, so clearly we do not want to go this way.
You slick down. You carefully oil...
But at least we know that the Ever Thieves probably are not down here.
The master's really something, ain't she? Yeah. I even likes the kid. Shame they keep her all the way on the other side of the castle. Yeah. It's the Annabes guy I can't stand. He looks at us like we was fooled or something.
Annabes?
You got it. That guy gives me the creeps.
Yeah, just in case the fortune-telling and the fact that we saw him at the end of the last game weren't clue enough as to who else is living here.
The bookshelves are... There's something strange about the volumes of Tobin's Spirit Encyclopedia, subtitled To Pass Beyond the Veil, on these shelves.
LG. It's right there in front of us, EXIT.
You carefully... You hear... Peering through the... You put your... You slick... You straighten...
And this looks oddly familiar.
You hear... You hear it?
And we're back to the start with only one part of the castle we have not explored at this point. And after all that, picklocks are up to 314. Here we got intelligence maxed out, luck maxed out, vitality and acrobatics boosted a bit too. So we will go ahead and stop this here, and next time we will check out the second part of the castle. See you then.